Do not be yoked together with unbelievers. For what do righteousness and wickedness have in common? Or what fellowship can light have with darkness? What harmony is there between Christ and Belial? What does a believer have in common with an unbeliever? This verse is being used by SnortleBLorfagus, I think. And in text form anyway, it's being used by Huckster, aka Art Decocos or Decocos. This video is for you two, as well as for Tommy and other believers that are involved in this exchange. I have kind of 6 points here. The implications here are far-reaching. At the very least, though, we see that being in the world is not our choice. We're here, okay? Because we're in it, there will be some intermingling, whether you'd like it or not, with other people, other beliefs, other doctrines, and, you know, intangible things as well. We cannot help that. So we're in the world with no choice. Not being of it means that we do not conform our beliefs and our doctrine or our new reborn status with anything that might tarnish it. We do not compromise or let we don't let anything corrupt what we've come to know. The verse I just read tells us not to be unequally yoked with unbelievers. I would challenge all of you to tell me what yoked means. I know in the day that this was being preached, 2 mules or 2 oxen were yoked together to combine their power and plow a field in a straight line. How do you define yoked in a modern day society in 2008? Being a friend with Tommy or TJ or you know, an atheist, are we yoking ourselves with them? To me, Christopher L. and Yoke Up and Jesus Freak and those that would befriend someone like Tommy on YouTube, I don't see them getting behind the same plow and plowing the same field. I see them in completely 2 different fields to begin with. So that's a little bit of a challenge to you there. You know, if we're going to get technical here and call a believer those people that believe in Jesus Christ as their holy Savior, they've repented their sins to Him, and they've been reborn, then when Jesus Christ came here, technically, there wasn't a believer on the planet by our current definition. There were those that believed in Yahweh the Father. There were those that, you know, had an understanding of things that were righteous and holy. But there were no believers in Jesus Christ. That's all Jesus hung out with, was the unbeliever, including His own 12. I dare say most of them didn't become true believers until after He rose from the dead. They scattered like cowards when Jesus was arrested. And that movement was dying on the vine, had it not been for His resurrection. So, you know, but, you know, who were the people He hung out with? Prostitutes, the very deathly ill and sick, like lepers, tax collectors. You know, more than a couple of His disciples were, you know, common man, smelly fishermen. So who did Jesus hang out with? That's kind of the whole point, isn't it? Aren't we supposed to be like Christ? Did he come here for the righteous and the healthy, or did he come here for the unrighteous and the unhealthy, the lame, the sick, the poor in spirit? He came here for Tommy. Paul urges believers not to form binding relationships with non-believers because this might weaken their Christian commitment, integrity, or standards. It would be a mismatch. Earlier, Paul had explained that this did not mean isolating oneself from non-believers. See 1 Corinthians 5, 9, and 10. Paul even tells Christians to stay with their non-believing spouses in 1 Corinthians 7, 12, and 13. Paul wants believers to be active in their witness for Christ to non-believers, but they should not lock themselves into personal or business relationships that could cause them to compromise the faith. Believers should do everything in their power to avoid situations that could force them to divide their loyalties. And again, I would say Huckster and Snortle, you would have a point that I would not be able to refute if you could show me how any of these people that you are claiming should not be watching Tommy or interacting with Tommy, how they've crossed any lines that are compromising or forcing them to divide their loyalties. If that's happening, I stand behind you both. It's my estimation that is not happening. I also find it very interesting where it says Paul even tells Christians to stay with their non-believing spouses in 1 Corinthians 7, 12 through 13. To point 6, and my final point, it's really more of a challenge. Here is my challenge to Huckster, SnortleB, and anybody else that wants to join in. What if, I don't know if either of you have kids, I do. What if one of your own sons or daughters was an unbeliever? They finally reach the age of accountability, they're looking at things, they're looking at your faith, how they were raised, they're comparing that to the world and society around them, and they decide they're atheists. I'd really like you to take the verse in the way you've used it and put it in the context of this scenario. There are Christian couples that have children, even if it's just for a season, that are atheists. Show me where that line is, guys. I'm having a hard time with it. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. It's been a while since I've made one. Thanks for inspiring me. I really do hope this spurs good conversation, because that's all I'm really here for. Oh, and Jack, I did your little eyebrow thing a couple weeks ago. I don't know if I got any wild ones coming back, but thanks for the tip, buddy. I think they're looking, what do y'all think? I think it's looking pretty good up there. Anyway, Edge signing off. Love y'all.